Welcome to the Grit Reapers, the podcast for aspiring online entrepreneurs that cuts through all the crap in the online business world and dishes out the raw and real truth about what it really takes to have a successful online business. No sugarcoating, no get-rich-quick schemes, just honest advice with a healthy dose of humor and hope.
We're your hosts, Gail and Candace, two online entrepreneurs who've been there, done that, and lived to tell the tale. So if you're looking for straight talk, practical tips, and the occasional reality check to get your online business moving, you're in the right place. Let's get down to business.
So welcome back, everybody. Excuse me and my croaky voice, but it's like real life and stuff happens. I'm a little bit sick, but it does not get in the way of us showing up, making content, and being here for all of you, our listeners. Welcome to the Grit Reapers with Gail. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
And our most wonderful friend. She is part of our Boo-Boo crew. If you do not know what that is, Gail and I have this curated list of people that we refer to as fixers. So often our clients are coming and complaining of problems and breakdowns, and we refer out to the people that are the best at what they do, and they come in and they fix it. And Kimi is part of our Boo-Boo crew. I'd love to introduce Kimi Brown, who is also known as the Sales Success Doctor. Hey, Kimi.
Hello. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, yay. Well, welcome. Kimi is like the go-to person when it comes to speaking about all things breakdown in funnels, problems with conversions. When you're just pulling out your hair, you don't know where to start, Kimi is your go-to lady. So we're going to just dive in straight away, Kimi. If people, well, I mean, I'm sure many of your clients that contact you have these kinds of complaints, like my webinar is not converting, or I'm not getting any new sales or new clients. Like there's some kind of breakdown or problem when it comes to conversions or funnels. What can you share today with us and our listeners that would really help them start to think about this issue of, conversion problems and funnel problems?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for trusting me with your audience. And so I take this really seriously, even though I'm a silly person. So let's talk about reality. I've been doing this since 2015, so I've been around a while. I've seen a few things. I want to normalize the struggle bus. Let's just normalize it right now. Being in a business where you're selling, whether you're an online course creator, coach, you have a product to sell, a service to do, it's a struggle bus that we're all on. And I don't care if you've been doing this for 2 seconds, a year, 2 years, even the bigger gurus. Everybody has been on the struggle bus. We're still on the struggle bus. There are times, like last week, major struggle bus moment. That's part of being in the business. And everyone who comes to me, that's part of why they're there, is something isn't working the way they thought it would. And so let's normalize the fact that in our business, there might be a lack of leads, a lack of sales, that I've tried everything and nobody's even opting in. Nobody's even visited my page, for God's sakes, or why not me? They're doing it for so-and-so. They've got a sexy page and it's promising all of these things and they're selling, and it seems like they just waved a wand and they're selling right away. Why not me? How come it's not happening for me? And I do more and I charge less. Maybe there's the sexy promises that someone has and you really want to be that truth teller, or your position is in such that you are kind of going against the grain because you see an injustice in the world. But everybody else is talking about the sexy things. So it is going to be a little bit of a struggle to get out there. Or you've hit your knees going, why don't people want what I have? Why don't people want me? And we're frustrated. We throw money at it. We want magic pills. We want Band-Aids. We want the secret, which is why those sell, the 2 secrets to bring in $1 billion, the 9-word email that made me $50 million.
Gail's nodding along like, hell yeah.
God, how about any of your listeners? Are you like in your head going, amen, that's me? Like, normally we're a passenger on the struggle bus. Sometimes we're driving the damn struggle bus. I'm just saying. And a lot of us want off the struggle bus. So I'm not here to talk about the magic pills or the Band-Aids. So I am a realist. I'm known as the joyful contrarian. I have seen a lot going on, and what it comes down to is I want to bust the myth of if you build it, they will buy. How many of you, including yourselves, have purchased a program or a course or something that's like, at the end of this, you will have this and you will sell in like 3 days or a month?
Oh, Gail,
Or-
we're having this conversation this morning. Yeah.
Or 90 days to XYZ. But we think that just by putting it up and going live, which is what they're telling us, that you will sell. No, you might be ready to start selling and doing the things that are needed to get people there. But really, this world, guys, sales, and I've been in sales since 1990s. I'm old, sorry. It takes what we all don't want to do, which is some work and some time and some elbow grease. And so I'm not here to give you the 5 things. They're going to be like the magic pill. I'm going to talk about, because I don't believe in sexy. I don't believe in flash and no substance. So I'm going to be a truth teller. So sorry, not sorry. We can have a healing service afterwards if I step on toes. But I mean, if you're looking for like the 5 things to fix your funnel, you can throw a stick and find 100 people that are doing that. And if it worked, you wouldn't need coaches, consultants, this podcast. So do I have your permission to be real?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
That is what we are here for, Kimi. The real talk.
So I will say, even what I'm telling you, it goes deeper, that we could go deeper. So I'm just going to give you just the highlights, and we can always go deeper, but every person, it's going to be different. There is no formula. It's going to depend on the person. And that's why it's your journey is unique, just like your client's journey is unique. It used to be that there was a specific formula or funnel that would move people through. Same thing with your business. There's not anymore. Everybody's journey is different. Yes, it's a funnel in the sense of you're moving someone through. Look at your own business as if it was your own client journey, but for yourself, where the end result is I'm up, I have leads coming in, I'm making sales. It's not only attainable, but it's sustainable. So you can do many things and see quick success, but it's usually a flash in the pan. It's not often repeatable. It's not often sustainable. And I'm here for the long haul. So I want to talk about,
Kimi, before you move on, let me ask you, in your experience, like, why do you think people are looking for this like formulaic structure to follow? Like everyone really wants to know, what are those 5 things that will fix my funnel? Why do you think people are doing that?
Let's talk about human nature and psychology and psychographics for a second. And so let's talk about us as human beings. And this may not be all of you, so this may not resonate, but this is the majority of you. So if it doesn't resonate, love me anyways, but I guarantee this is probably one of your clients. Okay, just saying. Have you ever tried to, like, even as a kid, there was, let's say, whether it's you had to like clean your room. And sure, there's a systematic way you can do it. But what if you could just shove it on your closet, close the door, mom doesn't know, and it looks like you cleaned it? Well, you cleaned your room. Did you not? Or homework, or a report that had to be done. Are you looking for the most streamlined, easy to get it done? It's not optimal. It's not great. May not get an A. So we're even programmed from a young age to look for shortcuts, to look for the easy way, the easy button. Now, I'm not saying there aren't ways to shortcut a process, to work smarter, not harder, but there's also a way that's going to, in the long run, because eventually your closet, your mom's going to put a shirt away, open up, and it all falls out, and you have to go do it anyways. Then you find a place to hide it.
Grounded. And get grounded in the process. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were me, I'd have to, my punishment was being forced to go outside and play because I was a reader. So I love to be sent to my room, but don't put me outside. So I had a tree that I would hide my books in. Shh, don't tell anybody. So, and then let's talk about marketing in general. We're not talking online marketing. Think back, those of you that are old enough, to mailers, to magazines. Actually, the next time you're in the grocery store, look at the magazine fronts, the top 5 ways to this, lose 10 pounds in 6 seconds. Sexy sells. That's what sells. And yes, you can see something. Yeah, I could lose that 10 pounds in 2 days just drinking water and starving, and then I faint. It's not long-term, and I'm going to gain twice as much back. That is our business, guys. But we're trained, and now we talk digital, it's the sexy that sells. It's those sexy headlines. It's the quick things, the formulaic things. And then you have people then selling that formula.
Wow.
And it's formulas are just that. It's one size fits all. And you are not a one size fits all business. And it's not saying what people are selling are wrong. It's just where in your journey does that fit, and does it even fit you?
Right.
And that comes into my first thing that I don't even have on my list here because I just want to talk about it now. Your business starts with you. Your capacity, just because you're capable, doesn't mean you should do it. How do you want to show up? When do you want to show up? Don't wait till a point in the future to go, oh, I'll have Fridays off. So whatever it is your funnel is, whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is you're putting in place to market, whatever place you're looking at for your audience and who you're resonating with, you also have to keep in mind their capacity, how they want to show up. And that kind of dives into, you've really got to look at your audience. And you're like, audience, it's only here. Guys, that's the crux of everything. Without an audience, you're just a book on a shelf that nobody's going to buy, or the Kindle that nobody looked at.
Okay, so are we getting to the next point now? I mean, is the next thing you're gonna highlight for people around breakdowns and conversion stuff around audience?
So what we can talk about right now is, let's just take a moment. So I could do like the 5 things. So if I were to whip through the 5 things, so if I'm going to tell you what I want to go deeper into, and again, these 5 things may not be your 5 things, but most people are jumping into the solution. And when I mean solution, it's your end product. How I'm going to coach, or is it an online course, or is it something without the offer? If you don't have that offer dialed in and nailed down, and what I mean by that is, who is it for? What are their top of mind issues? What's that transformation outcome that they are thinking of right now, top of mind? We need to read the room. Give them the 30,000 foot view on what it is in that offer that you are solving, and how you're going to do it, not logistics, how you're going to do that. Like, what are the components, steps, different things? How are you going to support them? Then logistics, and then price and package it right. If you don't start there and you have this nailed down, it doesn't matter what your end result is. Then a lot of you don't have an audience, or the right audience. And I'm going to say right now, if you are just starting out or you're stuck here, Gail has this amazing workshop, the How to Grow a Hell Yes Audience, to get you at least past the damn roadblock and get you started and moving you in a direction. And that a lot of you are lacking evidence that your audience will even buy. Don't build the end thing. How do we all start with the end product in mind and then try to fit an audience into it? Yes, ma'am. Has it been me? Yes, ma'am. Do I still fall into that trap? Absolutely. Square peg, round hole. Square peg, round hole. Yep, we're all nodding.
Are we all nodding?
We're freaking bobbleheads at this point. But that's where we all start. We all start with, this is what I know is going to change the world. Let me go create it and spend hours and hours doing it. But then nobody really sees the value or wants it. So let's back up a little bit. And then once you have the audience, you've gained proof that they want that outcome, then go build it to deliver on that outcome. And then, guys, funnel mismatch. Many of us just went out and just saw a sexy ad, and we picked that funnel, and that's the one we're using, and it doesn't match our audience at all. Busy moms can't handle a 5-day challenge that you have to show up for an hour at 2:00 with homework, and it closes that Friday. Why are you picking that? Or a busy person. And then visibility. Guys, you're not going to want to. You have a temper tantrum, but you got to get visible. Now that's going to look different to everybody. This does not mean just throw social media out, doing 1,000 bits of content. That may be what's right for you, but that's different for everybody. So what does that look like? Those are just really the first things before you even get into the other 15 things I could talk about.
Right. So when people contact you, I mean, I imagine this is like one big assumption, but I assume when people contact you, they're expecting you're going to be like, your call to action is not above the fold, or you're going to give them like practical reasons
Yes.
why their funnels aren't converting. And
So
what
the
you're saying,
practical things, yes. So the practical things you can find anywhere, and I have that towards like, listen, these are just the logistical things that sometimes people are missing on their page that will help increase conversions. But that's not often what really fixes it.
yeah. So that's what I was. It
That's just
sounds
hardly
like,
ever. Yeah.
yeah.
That's high level. Now, for some people, it may be like you have no call to action, or you've got 15 call to actions and it's putting people down the rabbit hole of suck. That may change things for you. But the true, let's get in. So I diagnose. So I go in, and if you say to me, Kim, things aren't working right, I go through your funnel and I look at it a fine tooth comb, but I look at it from traffic source to the end thing. And I'm looking for the gaps. I'm looking not just for tech, because that's important too. What if there's a button you don't know is not working? What's the language? Where are things laid out? So yes, there's the practical, but I'm looking for the conversion points.
Yeah.
And then I say, here are the gaps. Here are my suggestions and recommendations. And that's high level, because if you really want to dive in, that's my Sales Success RX. And that's where we like hand in hand in real time, no course, no group coaching. And we go from who you are all the way to the end. And I can do your whole business if you want, not just a funnel.
Yeah.
Because messaging alignment is another one. I mean, there's so many different things I could talk about, but it's going to be different for you, Candace, than it is for you, Gail.
Yeah.
Where your block is, where your blocks are, where you're not doing what needs to be done. And then making sure it aligns to each of you individually. So it is, I do say, so my other tagline is strategy first, always.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I think Gail and I think very similarly. Like, there are very few things that are actually A plus B. You know,
yes.
It's like, how long is a piece of string? How many things could be impact? Like, it's so layered. But I think what I'm hearing that you really have emphasized for us today is, yes, the practicalities matter, but they mean shit if you've done no foundational work. You know, like
yes.
if your foundations lack funnel mismatch, audience work, offer, you've built the product before the offer. If all that foundational work is not in place, it doesn't matter where your call to action is.
Yeah, or how beautiful your page is.
Exactly. So this is something I often talk about. Kimi, I don't know if you've ever heard me speak about my page 2 problem.
Yes, but say it again for the crowd.
Right. So when authors are writing a novel, and they get to their page 50, and then all of a sudden they realize, like, oh, there's a problem. There's a problem in the storyline. This is very much what happens to people. They like in it, and they've been, oh my God, like you're saying, Gail, how many people do we know have spent 6 months building the course?
Yes.
They've got 3 people following them on Instagram, or like 0 email lists, and then they think, 6 months in, now there's a problem. Whereas authors know that actually it's not a page 50 problem. This is a page 2 problem, because you didn't have every piece connected from the beginning. So as you've gone on, you've built on shaky ground. This is a page 2 problem. So really what we're saying is, when it comes to conversions and funnels, we're not taking away from the fact that there are very practical things, like
absolutely
know your audience, pick the right kind of launch strategy, like challenges versus webinars, master, blah 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 blah. Yes, that all matters. But we're saying you've really got to take the time, make sure you do not have a page 2 problem. That's foundational work. I mean, people must be so sick, Gail, of us just going on and on and on. Foundations. But it's so true, so true. Gail, come on in, join the conversation. Tell everybody what's on your mind. Like, when you hear, I'm sure even your clients talk to you about problems with conversions and sales and whatnot, or maybe you've got an experience you want to share with our listeners.
Yeah, so I just love, I can just sit and listen to Kimi all the time, and I was actually laughing there as the 3 of us were just nodding
like
along.
Bobbleheads.
But and that's the thing, Kimi, the first thing you said is to normalize the struggle bus, and to normalize the fact that even though we know a lot. And it's almost like you should know better, but you don't. We're still all making the mistakes, and it's absolutely fine to be making those mistakes. But you want to, at some stage, you do just have to like really sit down and decide if you're going to, if you miss those page 2 foundations, if you are going to kind of sit back and say, okay, I need to go back, or are you just going to keep going and going and going? And just Kimmy, what you were saying about like you once these foundations are in place, then if your funnel is not working, then you go in and you can look at the numbers. And I, as you two know, as my friends and mentors, I'm in the middle of a launch of a new launch mechanism. And it has been less successful than I had hoped. But what has been amazing to see is this is the first time I've really taken notice of the numbers, because it's the first time I've done a launch like this where I actually got enough people through to actually be able to look at conversions. I've done soft launches and stuff to, my audience and stuff like that. So while the result has been less than what I wanted, there were some technical issues as well. But the conversions along the way were really great. And this sounds terrible, until the class, although even on the class, people stayed
all the way
a long time, but there was a mismatch between the class and the offer. And it was crazy, because even as I was doing the class, I could see it. And I had done that class. I had videoed it. I had, done it so that I had the whole preparation done, and I hadn't seen it. And while I was sitting in that class, I was like, this is not going to work. And I didn't have any option but to sort of carry on.
Yeah.
But I realized as I was doing it, first time I've done it, was realizing as I was doing it that there was a problem. And I spoke to another person today, and he was like, it's just declining suckage. He's like, you sucked, and the next time you do it, you'll suck a little less, and we're gonna, you're gonna try this. And I think I kind of know. People stayed for a certain amount of time, and I think I know what happened. And then I got feedback from people. They didn't understand. They thought it was the paid program was a bigger part of the class. And so, yeah, I mean, it's horrible to say that it was, and as Kimi, you always say, it's never a failed launch. You either earn something, which I did, you learn something, which I did, or hopefully both, which I did. So it's never a failed launch, but the result may just not be what you had hoped. But there's always a silver lining, because of the technical issues, I'm going to redo it in 5 days.
Yep.
I'm going to tweak my class, and even if nobody comes, it's fine. I'm going to do it again, and straight away. And so silver linings with everything. Yeah,
so I think you're hitting on a good issue, and you're hitting on something that actually, again, could be its own thing. You've got to do it again and refine. Most of us give up. And it's not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. You did exactly what you're supposed to do, and you went in and asked the questions. Where was the drop off? So if I could also say something, take the emotion out of it. We can't. Analytics are everything. So why are people like me so powerful? I'm not emotionally attached to your business. So I go through and I look at your analytics, and I look at where the drop offs are. So if you're not looking at the numbers, you have so many people that come to me and say that their funnel's not working. Their funnel's working. There's a piece that wasn't working. The funnel you chose, everything may be aligned, but if I look at the numbers, I can pinpoint exactly where.
Yeah.
And that takes the emotion out of it, to where if you had just gone with, oh my God, it was a failure, the whole thing sucked, and and then not do anything, instead of going, oh my God, this was the most amazing conversion from here to here. I mean, really blew it out of the park. People staying on live for more than 90 minutes, like 90% of them, unheard of.
Yeah.
So you know exactly where to go back and look, instead of what most of us do, go, oh, the funnel's screwed up.
Yeah.
What I'm doing screwed up, and start over. So knowing your numbers, and even if you do have G4, but you don't know how to read it, then hire someone like me to go in and look at your numbers for you and translate it. What does it mean? And where is it broken down? But it gives you an unemotional way to deal with the big emotions going through your body.
Oh, yeah.
And then refine, realign, relaunch until you get hell no's.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you keep going with that.
Yeah. And as Candace says, there are big emotions. She's
They're
like,
huge.
I just want to check how you are this morning. I'm like,
That's why we normalize the struggle bus.
Yeah, totally.
Normalize that I just threw a flip-flop across the room.
Yeah, totally. I think what I love about both of you, what I just appreciate in my intimate support network is like, we don't have to pretend we've got it all nailed and perfect. Like, this is real. Everybody is making mistakes, even though they know better. And, you know, they're saying like, it's so hard to read the ingredients when you're inside the jar.
It's so true.
Or you just like, you can spot it in someone else's business, in someone else's masterclass, in someone else's messaging. But when it comes to our own businesses, like, we're emotional, we blinkered, really helps to have like coaches or, you know, friends that will really be honest with you, you know, because I think what pulling it together is really, Kimi, how you started this and what Gail has actually displayed and so honestly shared with us is really what this podcast is about. And it's about unveiling the truth about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And most people just the emotional letdown, the anticlimax, the lack of expectation meeting what actually happened, the time it takes to pick up and get going, the falling, the getting up, the retweaking, it is exhausting. It's exhausting. And most people do it once, think that was like Gail and I often joked, we were completely traumatized after our first launch, like completely traumatized, PTSD, launch PTSD, like never doing that again. Because you've got a resource, like a really, like you've got to resource yourself, like, and if you don't have people that you can just be honest with, it's super hard to keep going. Like, it's way easier just to think this isn't for me. Like, I'm going to be a dog walker, which I've thought many days. Like, I'm just going to walk dogs. Like,
I'm going to go back and like, you know, work at McDonald's and, you know, make more.
This is hard.
But you also need the truth tellers to go, is this launch style even you? Like, honestly, people, you don't have to do a full launch. There are so many different ways to do this to where, let's say you are, so one, you need to diagnose the launch, like, yeah, we're still going to move forward, but maybe it's less of a launch. Maybe it's done a different way. Maybe it's, so that's the other piece. It's, you need the truth tellers to go, okay, yeah, it takes work, but did it have to be that hard?
Yeah.
What can we, not shortcut, but what can we streamline? And that's where having people who've been through this before can go, hey, have you thought about this? Or maybe try it this way, get it proven, get it selling, then try something different. But it just, that's why there's no blanket answer, y'all. There's no blanket answer.
No
form. And if I can add one more 2 cents in there, don't go into the Facebook group after your launch didn't do what you expected and read about everybody else's. I did a beta and I got 62 people.
Yeah.
And everybody's going, oh, and then like further down, it's like, no, you know, I've been in the business for 7 years and I had another program and it didn't work and now followed this, and you know, so just
you don't know their story, you don't know their struggle bus, you don't know how long they've been on it. So so that's the hard part is, oh my gosh, because in a lot of groups, all you see is the positive. So what do? We compare.
100%.
And it's like, you don't know their whole story. And so that's why I think it's really important, if you're in a group program, if you're in a program, that the true story is told.
Yeah, for sure.
We are thrilled that, you know, to have someone like you. We consider you one of the like truth tellers in our world. Thank you so much for coming on. I know we could have like one episode on every single thing you shared today.
Hey, and I'm willing to do it. I'm willing just to show up and be like, do you want me to pick a topic? And I'll just do 15 minutes and then we'll get off.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be amazing. And we are
Amazing.
definitely going to have you back. So for those that are interested, Kimi's got something called a sales funnel bingo. And basically it's like in bingo, if they call the number, you block it out. It's basically like a couple areas that you want to block out in order to maximize your conversions and your funnels. We'll link it here. The link should have just popped up. Otherwise, you'll find it in the description, show notes, wherever this content is sitting. You'll definitely be able to find it along with some information about Kimi, how you can get hold of her if you'd like to. Kimi, thank you so much for joining us. It's always like Gail says, like you can just listen and laugh. You are literally one of the funniest humans that I know. And we just appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And everybody listening, thank you for having me into your lives and taking time to listen. And thank you, ladies, for trusting me with your audience. I take that seriously.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Kimi. As I said, I can just listen to you all day because you make so much sense. So it's like I had my own little coaching session here while we were recording this podcast.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. Hey, if any of you have been indirectly coached, make sure you comment on this podcast. Make sure you share what these ladies are doing. You have a few other people that are trying to do this. And this is when we talk about, you know, being a thought leader in the industry. You do have to be noisy. You have to stand out. If you have found this of value, share this podcast, share their channel with other people who you feel like you need to hear truth and reality. And it's not just all negative doom and gloom in our reality.
Yeah.
When you see successes and what it allows you to do and the freedoms this having your own business gives you, I've got goosebumps right now. It is absolutely priceless. And the amazing things that happen. So we share those too.
Yeah, yes, we do. We do try to pepper this with a little bit of humor and do not go and jump off a bridge. It will be okay. You know, we just we do try.
If you need me to pray for you, let me know.
Yeah.
and we've got the Boo Boo crew. So
we do have the Boo Boo crew. We do. There's the Boo Boo crew. Much love.
Thank you so much. And we will catch you guys at the next episode. Bye.
Bye.